So I'm playing a bit of a bad guy in our own film there. And in amongst the motoring community, I'm often considered a bit of a bad guy because I promote electric vehicles. I've been driving Teslas for the last 7 years. But I'm also a bit of a petrol head, you know, and everyone likes a bit of Steve McQueen. I've even dressed like him today. This here is a Ford Mustang Bullitt. What do I think of it? So this is a bit of an old review, isn't it? You know, an EV guy doing a review of a 5-litre V8 Mustang. But let me do my best to kind of run you a bit around this car whilst I got it and exactly what I think, because you might be a little bit surprised by the results. Firstly, what I've been driving a lot of for the last few years is a Tesla Model 3 Performance. It's worth about £50,000. So is this. This is a 5-litre V8. This is 100% electric. I mean, these are two American cars which are pretty much poles apart, aren't they? They're literally opposites, I think. But the Model 3 Performance, it ticks my boxes as a petrol head because it's fast, it's got all the power and the torque you need, instant responses, it's super cheap to run, and it is actually a joy to drive. I really enjoy driving all the Teslas, and the Model 3 Performance is no exception. It's just a bundle of fun. It's super sharp reactions. I love the software, I love the technology, I love the capability, and it's just been a brilliant car. I've had many of these and they're just fantastic cars. So this here can't be more different really, can it? This car, 5 litres of V8, worth about the same money, but completely poles apart. So let me show you a little bit around this car. This is the Bullitt Edition, hence all the Steve McQueen dress and our special video. I hope you all appreciated that. We had great fun making it. Everyone wants to do a bit of that, don't they, one day? Luckily today was that day for me, and it's been fantastic. So let's show you a little bit around this car, and then I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on it. But this is what it's all about. 5 litres of V8, and this is just a musical instrument. I think the whole car is just a musical instrument. I have to admit, it is a joy. It's, you know, a V8 sound to a petrol head is a thing of beauty, isn't it? And I do appreciate that, I really do. And this is where it all comes from, this amazing V8 engine, which does sound absolutely glorious. Apparently they don't usually have this strut brace here. This was actually shipped in from America and fitted to this car, but the other UK cars probably won't have that. Okay, so what do I think of the look of it? Well, I do like it. I mean, it's unashamedly aggressive, isn't it? But it is nice. I love the fact there's nothing in the grille here, nice and open, the bonnet vents. This Highland green in the sun looks beautiful. I love that. It's really nice. I do like the aggression to it. And I love these wheels. Obviously, you know, a retro version of the original wheels, and these are just fabulous. I like the way the wheels aren't too big either, not massive alloys, good bit of tyre there. I like, much approved. No nonsense handles. Classic sloping roofline, distinctive LED tail lights, brilliant. 4 big holes in the back that make lots of lovely noise. Then we've got the Bullitt emblem on here, very nice, very important. Camera up here, kind of be nice if that was a bit more discreet, but it is what it is. Tailgate, well, the boot space is actually quite good. There's a big sub there. Obviously the opening here is impeded somewhat, but the boot itself is quite big and the seats actually fold down. Like that. I like the way the sub again is just unashamedly just bolted right in there. Let's have a look under here. So a bit of extra storage space under there. Presume the wheels don't fit inside that hole. In the back is a bit squeezy for headroom. You don't really get a 6-foot adult in here, but you could get a couple of kids, not too bad. In the front here, well, it's nice to be fair. It's functional, you've got the kind of plastics and everything, but again, it's just kind of is what it is. It's functional. Unashamed. I like the toggles here. This one controls your driving mode, sport, track, drag mode. So these are nice. Push button start, a functional sat nav screen there. It's okay. Got a bit of aluminium on the dashboard here. Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is probably pointless. You don't even need a radio in this car. It's probably very good, but the car is the audio system. What's the point in having it? Bullitt. L1467 on the dashboard there, I like. And we've got these nice bolstered Recaro seats, which are very, very comfortable. So it's good. I've got a reasonable view. That long bonnet sits in front of me. I like it. Handbrake, proper handbrake, no buttons, a proper lever. And then this one actually has 3 pedals and a manual gearbox, which I love. I haven't driven a manual for ages. We just come away from manuals, and I have to admit there's part of me that does miss that. And so to have a drive in this with a manual gearbox, been a real pleasure, I'll admit that. I like how the first owner's just cherished his car, and he's even left all the plastics on the car on the inside here, so the sun visors are still wrapped up, still a protective screen. on here, and the kick plates and even the door handles have still got the original plastics on. So this car's nearly 2 years old, but he's kept all them on the car to keep it original. And I love that, and I love how much they just cherish this car. They're just selling it now to make way for a different car in his collection, but he's absolutely cherished this car and has really enjoyed it. And he was telling me that he even just goes out to the garage sometimes just to look at it, and he's just enjoyed every minute. He hasn't done too many miles, it's a weekend car, but that's the point I'm going to come on to. So I love driving a Tesla. I think it's the perfect everyday car. Smooth, quiet, comfortable, lightning throttle response, tons of power and torque. And it's just brilliant. I mean, a Tesla is a lovely, fast, but effortless car to drive. Now, in the famous film, Steve McQueen has his window down, and I can see why, because as I depress the clutch, go to second, it auto blips it. This is what a Tesla doesn't do. And this is a genuine smile from a petrol headlights of V8. So pop that up so I can hear me talk. So to drive, it's okay. It needs the little blip on the downshift is rather nice. You know, if I was going to buy, if electric cars didn't exist and petrol was affordably cheap, this would be the car, and I totally understand that. Absolutely, this would be the car I'd very strongly consider buying. It kind of reminds me of my old TVRs. It's not especially smooth riding, it's not especially dynamic. It drives okay, but it's not about that. It actually needs work. It needs a bit of patience with the gearbox. It needs kind of shuffling along, and actually it just wants to be driven hard all the time. It'd be very easy to drive it hard all the time and take it off the road, or just look like a hooligan driving around. That's probably the downside of this. But I love how it's engaging and isn't the latest modern super slick fast car, you know, with everything perfect. And that's like my old TVRs were. They needed a bit of work. They were harder to love, but because of that, you loved them more, if that makes sense. So it's a mixed bag, isn't it? You know, it's about context. What's the point in sitting in this car? It could drive along a motorway like this really quite happily, no problem at all. What's the point? This is where, just cruising along, this may as well just be an electric car. So for day-to-day driving, an electric car for me all day long. For performance and fun, electric car can have all that as well. This does just have that element which takes you back to the old days. You know, this does feel prehistoric now, but I do love it for that. And I think cars like this, we can have them in a garage and take them out on odd days, and I think that is the perfect place for them to be. So that's my quick review of this car. And it's strange, isn't it? Because I do actually really like it. And I'm not against combustion cars per se. We've got a lot of great combustion cars and we can still enjoy them, you know, have a good drive out on the weekend, and something like this is just perfect for that. But you don't want to go and buy one as a new car and then try and commute in it and do the school run every day. That's the bit I don't get. That's the bit I'm trying to steer people away from. Not walking into Land Rover and buying a new Range Rover just to drive around in when you go to do the school run in Tesco's. Not to buy a 6.3 AMG V8 just to commute up and down the motorway. There's no point in that. So I'm not against combustion cars in the right context, and to enjoy what I think now is a classic car in the right context, take it out on a lovely sunny Sunday afternoon, or take it to a track and enjoy that. That's not going to kill the planet, but we need to get away from making and selling those as new cars now. And so this is a bit of a dying breed, isn't it? This is probably one of the last of the classic V8s. And for that, you've got to respect it. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching our videos. If you like our content and want to see more, don't forget to not only subscribe but also hit the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any new videos as they're uploaded. Plus, we're also on Instagram, just look up R Simons or RSEV. We're on Facebook and Twitter. So lots of news, stories and things as we go on each one of those channels.